All right, we're back. Um, this would be fourth part, Last of Us Part 4. Let me just get comfortable here. All right. All right, let's do it. So, so what happened here basically is that we have now made our way out of the Boston QZ and we're moving on to actually going into, main city Boston, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So we made our way through here, and now that is what awaits for us.
Holy moly. I guess this is what these buildings look like up close. They're so damn tall. So
Yes,
what
they are.
happened here? They bombed the hell out of the surrounding areas to the quarantine zones, hoping to kill as much of the infected as possible. It worked. For a little while.
So we see that, right? Got this nice bridge here. And that is the Boston, Massachusetts quarantine zone. Boston QZ headquarters. So that's where we came from. You see that building. Let's see if I can orient myself here. One of those buildings is the North Tunnel, where we kind of took off earlier, while Joel and Ellie were waiting for Tess. Got the lights up there. Yeah, I mean these quarantine zones, they have to be like this, right? Surrounded by 30-foot tall walls of reinforced concrete. They have massive watchtowers, lights, guards, weapons, electricity. They have to have some sort of self-sustaining, a self-sustaining system going on there, right? Now, once we actually make our way into the out of the Boston QZ, we find ourselves in a peculiar situation. So you'll notice that Joel earlier actually showed signs of fear. Can you imagine this guy being afraid? And oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can ask anybody. You can ask a police officer, a firefighter, a soldier, a special forces operator, skydiver, an athlete. You can ask any person on earth who does anything even remotely dangerous, and they'll all tell you the same thing. No matter how strong you are, how tough you are, how big you are, or how experienced you are, the fear never, ever goes away. It is the oldest, most fundamental emotion installed in the human brain's programming. We've been feeling fear long before since we ever felt anything else. So you can't get rid of it. Physiological mechanism for fear is far too old to just simply overcome with mere willpower. It does not work like that. What people train themselves to do is they learn to take advantage, like sort of take advantage of the adrenaline rush, the fight or flight sympathetic mode. They actually manage, well, they don't freeze. If anything, it pushes them to act more, not less. There's people who train themselves to take advantage of that feeling, not to freeze, but to do what needs to be done. So a few things I want to explain before we move on here. So like I said, Joel is a hardened, very experienced, ruthless survivor. But even he understands that he would be a fool not to be afraid of what's lurking out there. We're 20 years into the apocalypse. 60% of mankind, of the original population, is dead or infected. And at this point in time, the world is basically a mess. Anyone who any survivor at this point in time has to, like almost mandatory, be in a group. We're talking about either scavengers that lurk the streets, hunters that ambush people, other survivors, fireflies, paramilitary groups, or of course Fedra, what remains of the government and its quarantine zones. But every single person at this point in time is either in a group of some kind or packed with supplies to the brink. That is basically mandatory at this point. Joel's scared here because he knows what's out there. He's been there, he's done that. He's seen it all. He's seen what's out there. He knows what's waiting for him, both infected and other ruthless survivors that are probably not going to be as nice as you hope them to be. So like I said earlier, this is quite the apocalypse that The Last of Us portrays. The world is now full of infected, and the humans that remain are all pieces of crap, unfortunately. But what do I mean by that? Everyone, any human that's still alive at this point in time is going to be a ruthless survivor. They'll do whatever it takes. They'll do horrible things to survive. That's why they're still around, because they had to, right? But there is a difference between people like Joel and Ellie. A very big, massive difference, obviously, between the concept of good and bad. There are good people like Joel and Tess, and there are bad people out there. Apocalypse or not, infected or not, throughout any point of history, throughout all of human history, there have always been good people and bad people. It is as simple as that. So the good people here would have just done what needed to be done to survive, even if that included doing bad things, but at heart, they're still good people. But then you have bad people that are just bad, man. Bad. Just bad. And we'll see what I'm talking about later on in this game. You'll notice that after 20 years of, in a mostly uninhabited city, nature starts to take over. You have buildings falling apart, vegetation growing out of the streets. It's just the earth swallowing up the concrete, doing what it does, right? And well, at this point in time, that's one explanation for why the city is such a mess, because it's simply been a long time. Buildings and cities, they require, people. The world requires people to be sustainable. Everything you see around you, power grids, electricity, water systems, gas systems, sewer systems, everything is, of course, maintained by systems that are maintained by people. If there are no people, well, these systems start to fall apart, including architecture, and the cities themselves start to fall apart But like Tess mentioned here, it's also the result of bombings. You'll notice this huge crevice up there just before we get, like, if any survivors or infected wanted to get to this QZ, look what they'd have to come across. Like, it wouldn't be easy for them to actually make their way over there. They make their way into this abyss down there, you know, like probably 30 feet, 20 to like 15 to 20 feet deep. And even if they get there, they'll just be shot on sight or blown to kingdom come before they arrive. That is how these QZs have been. That's why this particular QZ has been able to maintain itself all the way until now. So going into Boston now, like not Boston QZ, Boston.
What the hell was that?
Tess, you hear that?
Yeah. Sounded pretty far away, though. Are we safe? For now. Come on.
Hear that? That screech we just heard? Yep.
Damn, that's quite a drop.
Well, there's the Capitol building.
Yeah. We need to get around this mess. This is the downtown area? It was. Now it's a giant wasteland.
So this is actually really interesting. As you can see, bombings, right? They, like, during the outbreak, governments around the world actually made the effort to bomb, you know, major cities in an attempt to isolate the outbreak, to stop the spread of the infection, right? And it worked to an extent, but it didn't exactly go according to plan. Desperate measures, right? When human beings are pushed to absolute desperation, the absolute brink, they will do whatever it takes. Things they themselves could have never imagined themselves doing. So you can see what's left of the city of Boston here, 20 years into the apocalypse. This area in front of us is actually really interesting because the next couple of hours of gameplay, everything we're actually going to pass through is in this entire screenshot right here. Everything in our peripheral vision right now, this entire area here is what we're going to be traversing over the next couple of encounters and the next couple of hours. That's the museum. Eventually we'll make our way there. This is a giant, what it was, but that's interesting. Well, we're gonna go inside and take a real good look at it. Then there's the other one. Pretty sure similar. We don't actually go into this one, do we? I'm thinking. No, we don't really go into that one. We don't go into that one. We go into this one though. Yeah. So we actually come out. Yeah, we come out literally over there. We come out just on the other side there. We basically make our way in here, make our way upstairs a little bit, and then we come back down, and then we make our way down, all the way to the basement, and we come out on the perpendicular street over there. And then we make our way into the museum, and we all in efforts to get there, the Capitol building. That's where you would have had the municipalities. I don't know how the municipal branch of government works in the United States.
Over here.
But I'm pretty sure it's very similar to, you know, to the Canadian municipal.
You find anything over there?
To an extent.
Keep looking.
As you can see, another Firefly pendant, another collectible, but we are not wasting. We're not wasting any ammo at all on that. So look at this, the all stone. It's missing letters, isn't it? Crawlstone? No. This is building, obviously. There's the all stone build in. So there's something stone building. Is there something I'm missing here? Am I not seeing? There's no outline. Goldstone. That's probably what it is. The Goldstone building. Is that a symbol? Yeah, that looks. It looks like a golden emblem. Yeah, it's probably golden. Oh wait, no. Or is that a curtain? That's a curtain. Christ. It's a curtain. Yeah, so this would have been, you know, your set of office buildings here. Big, giant office buildings, probably banks, to be honest. Or a hotel. Actually, no, this is not a hotel. The Goldstone building. Yeah, that looks like an office building of some kind. Let's check it out.
Hey, Tess.
Coming.
Taking a nice shower. So, what do we got? We have our collectibles we just collect throughout the game. Here, we have our shivs. We absolutely want to keep as many of these materials as possible. Like I explained earlier, these are in emergency scenarios used to kill clickers, but I mostly save them for the shiv doors because that's where you'll find some pretty important supplies. It's a miracle these buildings still stand. Yeah.
It's been ripped apart. Body's pretty fresh.
Is that bad?
Yeah, it might be. Let's not stick around.
Hear that? Let's listen for a second. If you listen closely, you can actually hear certain sounds. The devs do that on purpose, obviously. So you could just see this, right? You know, you have a bomb city 20 years into an apocalypse. Yeah, you're going to end up with buildings like this. Oh, look at that. Oh, boy. So it's not our first encounter with infected in the game so far. Right? Let's take a look at this. You have a Federal soldier. Now, why is he out here? So Federal obviously mainly guards and protects the quarantine zone from infected, fireflies, scavengers, survivors, etc. Right? And all residents, you know, they play a part in protecting it too. Of course, everyone has their assigned roles and tasks. But these guys also, you know, they go out. They go out a little bit a little farther. They go out a little farther into the city to, of course, gather supplies, scavenge any extra supplies they can find. They go out here on patrols and supply runs every now and then, but they don't always. Not all of them come back, right?